I make it right, I make it right. I'm in this bitch with the terror. Got a handful of stacks, better grab an umbrella. I make it rain on them hoes.
To infinity and beyond.
Ow!
Hey guys, what's going on? This is your boy Christian Israel, and you are tuned into the New Creation Capital Podcast, a place where we discuss what happens in the world today, where we talk about stories that focus on current events, the stock market, and of course, digital assets. This is a new you, a new future, and a new creation. Thank you guys for who are tuning in. Maybe you might be tuning in on Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, and of course, the Anchor platform where you can partner with us or send us a message and converse with us. Of course, we are also on the YouTube platform. You can find all those videos not only on YouTube, but also on the Publish OX website. Here you can find all of our audio and our video. Yesterday we talked about, now this is a sarcastic article, XRP is useless, centralized, distinct, and partner with Apple as oil also crashed down 196% yesterday. You can find our audio and our video on here. This is a cryptocurrency based website, so thank you guys for being on there. Of course, you can also find us on Twitter at New Creation Cap. And before I keep going, I was on a conversation, a business call yesterday for 3.5 hours, and I woke up this morning and my voice is really hoarse, so I apologize for the throat clearing, the drinking of water right now. I just got off my bike, spent about an hour yesterday. I actually went on a walk/run and running hills yesterday in my area. And man, I went 9 miles yesterday in 2 hours. I didn't mean to, but I am an old man hurting today. But I did see someone who was running. She gave me some motivation because that girl was running the hills that I was trying to just get up in a slight jog. So I'm going to get there eventually. Speaking of giving credit to people, the first actual video that you just saw, which is an amazing, funny video, it was given by Marble Hair. Oh no. Did not mean to play that. It hadn't played the whole time until just now. But, excuse me. Breaking live scenes. This is just from a couple days ago. Anyway, shout out to Marble for it. Today's story, we're going to actually just dive in and talk about how is, not only is the oil crashing, but I already forgot what I'm talking about today. Oh yeah, as there's a tsunami of bankruptcies coming into town. Basically, people are getting ready to go bankrupt, but somehow the dollar value has been going up. We also saw that oil crash yesterday, and it's sitting around, I don't know, $5 or something like that. We'll check that in a second. But what is really the strength of the dollar bill right now? Definitely with all these bankruptcies coming in. So something I also wanted to show you. I've pushed about, I wanted to do an article on this. Check this out. Collapsing petro U.S. dollars could find relief in digital currency. I'm not going to touch on that article today. I already have too much stuff. But I saw this tweet. Who was this tweet by? LG8521. He actually got Brad Garlinghouse's picture in there. Anyway, he retweeted this, and I thought this was interesting because I talk about mass media manipulation consistently on this channel. How the mass media, the main four conglomerates, push your mind to think the way you're supposed to. That's what I talk about a lot. It's kind of why I give the information I do, because the information we see is not normally in the mass media, and so does a lot of the other YouTubers out there. So shout out to the people who are about the real news. Anyway, this is a post that looks like maybe on Facebook by Jeremy M. Jack. It says, okay, I have held my tongue about this COVID-19 insanity, but after CNN used my face to report outright lies that continue to incite the mass hysteria around this issue, all bets are off. My son starts blowing up my phone today saying, Dad, you're on the news about the coronavirus. I was completely confused, so I find out that while reporting on the conditions in San Francisco as a result of the virus, they used footage of me during the Hurricane Harvey in Houston line. That's interesting, right? This is not even, they're saying he's in San Francisco, but he's literally just said, that's me right there, and I'm actually in line during Hurricane Harvey in Houston 3 years ago. Blows my mind. Anyway, let's jump into see what's going on in the market real quick. Right now, oil is up $42 from yesterday, sitting around $5.16. That's a 113% increase, guys. Now, I think that's interesting because I think the lowest it got yesterday was minus $37, basically to the point where they're paying you to take it off. Those who don't know, the petrodollar is backed by oil. And the big thing about U.S. is not going to let the oil crash. That's why when you saw Trump's conference yesterday, he was so calm and collective about it. He's like, yeah, some people got wrecked. It happens. Wake up this morning, oil's back above. Still not profitable for oil exchanges, or not oil exchanges, but oil workers here in America and a lot around the world. A lot of people lost their jobs yesterday. A lot of people who's got their 401ks and their pensions backed up in the oil industry lost at least 75% of their pension yesterday if they didn't sell it minus 17 and lose it all. So big deals yesterday. You're not hearing a lot about this. Instead, you're hearing positive things. And we're going to go into why we're hearing positive things. But there is a reaction in the stock market here. Down right now, as of intraday, we have Dow is down 620 points, down 2.6%, sitting around 2,300. S&P is down 3%, sitting around 2737. The NASDAQ is down around 3.5%. Also, let's see here. The global Dow is down 3%. Gold is down 1%. So some things are down right now. So let's jump into see how if the cryptocurrency markets react in any certain way. Of course, just like, Bitcoin down 3.25%. And then we go and look at the NASDAQ down 3.54%. And Dow down 2.66%. With the S&P down 5%, 3%. So it's correlated, man. Look at that. The numbers are pretty much, even the percentage-wise, is in the same exact ballpark right now. And we know, well, it just switched on us to 2.18%. So that kind of kills it a little bit, but still, it's still down 2.8%. This, by the way, is no mix. It really keeps up to date. This actually shows real volume. I forgot what other channel I saw this on. I don't remember who showed it, but he showed it, and I like it because it shows the real volume here, not like a coin market cap. Anyway, you can see it's down 2.6. Everything's down around 2% here. In the top three, Tether is up 2%. People are moving their money into Tether. So that's pretty interesting. Sitting around 18% for XRP. Ethereum around 170. Bitcoin's around 680.44. And where I'm trading right now, it's around 68.30 in the Kraken platform where I trade. So, not too many crazy things. It's down. Oil's down. I mean, look at this. Down, down, down. And you got some random coin here. Up. Tron is up. USD coin, which is a stable coin, is up. But look at this. Everything else, pretty much down, down, baby. Ghosting in the Range Rover. Sweep, sweeper, baby. Top ready to let it go. Anyway, shout out to the St. Louis folks. So, let's go up into why this is important. The halving right now is 20 days away. 20 days, 13 hours, and 54 minutes, and 8 seconds. Again, I'm someone who holds Bitcoin, like literally low Bitcoin, but I'm really about trading Bitcoin. I'm seeing people out there talking about Bitcoin going to 1,500, going to 3,500, going to 3,800, going to the moon, right? As Crypto Kirby says, slow down, little James. He makes me laugh. If you guys don't know who Crypto Kirby is, he's funny on YouTube. I like his information. He keeps it straight. Anyway, so again, I'm not here to give you financial advice. We hold XRP here. That's why yesterday's little rant about XRP being useless, etc. People gave it thumbs down, negative comments. And I'm like, guys, if you know anything about this channel, who hasn't been around long, this is episode 28, right? Shout out to 4 weeks old. But we hold XRP. Like 90 to 95% of our portfolio is XRP. So it was just sarcasm. Bitcoin halving right now, it is what it is. As I showed you here, when Bitcoin moves, the rest of the market moves. Point blank, period. That's what happens. It moves, it moves, it moves. Because Bitcoin is the dominant right now. So that's why when Bitcoin dominates, altcoins go up. So the Bitcoin block halving does have an effect on the rest of the market. This is why I talk about it. Maybe Bitcoin does hit 50,000, 150,000, $1 million a coin. That's why I hold it, because you never know. But I plan on having wealth, life-changing money in XRP and a couple other coins. Bitcoin is more about using the money I make from Bitcoin to reinvest, period. So let's get to the story of the day. And the story of the day is about a tsunami of bankruptcies are about to wash away America's retail sector. So this is what's important to me, is we are talking literally about bankruptcies, okay? But if oil just crashed and the stock market is slowly lowering, the value of the dollar here, let me look at right now the value of the dollar. Let's see if I can find it for you guys. Let me spell value dollar. Right now, Let's actually put value of the dollar. Here we go. Right now, the value of the dollar to the euro is actually less. So right now, the value here, it says it's at 92 cents on the dollar, okay? So it's actually up because in some other places, if we do it to, let's go the Chinese yen, just a little fun thing here. The Chinese yen, dollar, it's what, 7 yen is worth $1, okay? $1 is worth of 7 Chinese yen. So, I'm sorry, won. That's won. So let's go. Let's see here. Let's check one more coin to see what's going on. I know we check it. Let's check the Hong Kong against the Hong Kong dollar. Around 7. But you see here the value of it has gone down over time. Now let's go back to euro real quick. And this is just showing you kind of how it works. Over max, we see the dollar's been up, and it's kind of in the same place that the dollar was at 92 cents in 1998. So it's really not moving per se as far as the value of it. This here says that it is valued in 3 separate ways. We see the exchange euro, a 10-year treasury yield, foreign exchange currency. So there's 3 different ways to measure the dollar. Now, we're not going to go into that. This is real recent exchange rates, central bank rates. So if we keep it right where it needs to be, you see in 2008, strangely, the U.S. dollar was at $1.40 when we were in a recession. So it continues to go up. So the question is, what is really going to go on with it? We won't go chronological with it. I will actually put this link in the description because I think it's interesting just how to measure the actual U.S. dollar. So anyway, let's jump into the actual article. So it says here, as the coronavirus pandemic keeps America retail stores closed, Michael McGrail is gearing up for what is shaping up to be a busy summer of going out of business sales at very prominent chains. And he quotes here saying, "Some companies are just not going to survive this," says McGrail, who is the COO, the chief operating officer of one of the world's largest asset disposition and valuation firms, Tiger Capital Group. It will be McGrail's team, which often includes store associates of a stricken retail that hangs the everything must go signs and works to fetch top dollar on fixtures and other inventory. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink of this coffee. Thank you. It says here, McGrail declines to say where retailers have been calling him up for asset appraisals, except to note the names wouldn't be any big stock. So he's saying big stocks aren't going, but little business are going. And he states here, it's going to get ugly. We haven't seen a strong uptick in bankruptcies, only 4 so far per BDO data this month for several reasons, experts explain. It says here, first, preparing for a structured entry into bankruptcy typically takes 2 to 3 weeks. So you're looking at 2 to 3 weeks actually for bankruptcies to kick in. We've been in this crisis, 5-6 weeks now. So we'll say 7 weeks to be soon, right? So 7 weeks in, people aren't in bankruptcy yet. A month into it, people are starting to go, oh man, we only have a month of cash flow, which a lot of businesses without any money coming in only get about a month of cash flow. So April's about done. We're 3 weeks into April now. And it says here, it takes 2 to 3 weeks for retailers, right, to start actually filing bankruptcy. Retailers were only thrust into mass social distancing mid to late March. Again, about 4 weeks ago. Most held hope that they would reopen stores in April. That's what we hear a lot about, April, which pushed off bankruptcy planning. Secondarily, even the worst positioned big name realtors still have enough cash on hand to move through April and May, especially with workers furloughed. That allows executives to consider all options behind the lines. And lastly, one of the benefits of a retailer filing for bankruptcy is to raise cash for creditors by holding store closing sales. That can happen with state-mandated store closings, okay? So, it says here, to continue, what does that mean? You can't do that now. You can't file for bankruptcy to raise cash, okay? You can't do that now. You can't do that with everyone homebound. You can't make it to the store. So there is no benefit to bankruptcy, says David Berlin, lead of BDO's restructuring and turnaround services. Okay, so their job is to come in and say, this is where your company sucks. Let's turn it around. Here's how we'll turn it around. It says here, continuing, but with rent interest and other expenses continuing to occur, No idea on when stores will be allowed to reopen. Retailers are coming to the conclusion that they must get ready to file for bankruptcy to alleviate cost in hopes of surviving. The avalanche of filings are likely to begin hitting around the time of store reopenings in May to early June, experts believe. The threat alone will probably keep the sector stock prices under pressure until it becomes more apparent which retailers have lived and who will die. Continuing. I think many of these companies will file for bankruptcy, and it's not a handful. It's several dozen, and that's a scary number. It's far more than we have seen over the last several years combined, says Stifel Managing Director of Michael Collinder, who leads the consumer and retail investment banking group for the firm. Collinder and his colleague James Doak at Miller Buckfire, Stifel's restructuring arm, where Doak is co-head, have worked on dozens of consumer and retail bankruptcies in recent years, including Aeropostale, Gymboree, and Things Remembered. Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to Aeropostale and Gymboree. I haven't seen them in a while, but I also don't do any most of my shopping's online now. Continuing. We will see some major chains go away and not come back. These chains that were struggling before the situation. COVID-19 will put them over the ledge, Collinder adds. Doak thinks there will be numerous creative deals struck by retailers in a bid to stay afloat. For instance, a mall owner takes a stake in the anchoring tenant. There is a precedent here, as it was a consortium of mall owners, Simon Property Group, and General Growth Partners that followed the auction of Aeropostale's assets in 2016. Both had interest in keeping Aeropostale open, as it had an important traffic, driving, and rent-paying tenant. So basically they're saying people are going to partner. Let's talk about JCPenney real quick. JCPenney is one of the higher profile names we think will be closest to a bankruptcy situation, says Instant retail analyst Michael Baker. There are big questions about Neiman Marcus and retail department stores like Bellic. Now here's the thing. JCPenney was already in trouble because they're not online. I remember thinking about them in the stock market in early 2019, mid to late 2019, seeing that their price was dropping, thinking about investing. I actually asked my mom, do people still shop at JCPenney? Because I was looking at the Targets, the Best Buys, the Kohl's, what else was out there? Nordstrom was going public with the big New York market in the stock exchange. And I'm looking at these trying to decide who to short, to be honest with you. Not who to go in, because I expect the stock market to crash really in 2021. COVID-19, as Robert Manuel says, never let a crisis go to waste. But I was expecting this financial market to crash in a year. It happened about 9 to 10 months earlier than I expected. So I was looking to get some shorts for JCPenney was one of them, because they were already, if you're not online, you're going to fail. Hey, banks, if you're not a digital currency, you're going to fail. That's why banks are moving towards it. Anyway, let's go on to see what Neiman Marcus says. Neiman Marcus plans to file for bankruptcy within a week. Within a week. As we previously communicated, the coronavirus pandemic continues to take a toll on Macy's businesses. While the digital businesses remains open, we have lost the majority of our sales due to our store closures. Macy's Incorporated has taken multiple actions to improve our position and improve financial flexibility, including suspending our quarterly dividend, deferring capital spend, drawing on our credit facility, and reducing pay at most levels of management and furloughing the majority of our colleagues. The company is also exploring numerous options to strengthen our capital structure. We have relations with a range of advisors, a Macy's spokesman told Yahoo Finance. The bottom line is, what's the point of all this? Most of the experts Yahoo Finance chatted up expect some degree of chaos to ensure when retailers reopen their stores in coming weeks. Indeed, there is more going on here than executives working behind the scenes with legal advisors enter bankruptcy. There's definitely more going on. Thousands of stores across the country right now are sitting on badly aged inventory inside of their closed stores. The dust collecting stuff will have to be sold at fire sale prices. Everything must go for cheap. Remember, that's what a garage sale is. I'm getting rid of it. I paid $100 for it. You can have it for $10. I just want to get rid of it and take as much profit as I can. I don't care if I get lost. Basically, that's how the stock market works, right? People are losing money and they sell and it's a loss and you're gone. You can't get the money back. The problem is that everyone in retail will be doing the same exact thing come May and June. So when the economy opens, people are going to dump their market. So right now, they can't even really file bankruptcy, because as we read in the article, if they file bankruptcy right now, in this moment, right, they won't even be able to get the money they're supposed to be normally because everything's closed and based on the demanding of the store being closed by the government. So they really don't actually get what they get. So they have to hold on to bankruptcy until the economy reopens. Then in May and June, everything must go, leaving realtors to earn a horrific return on that inventory investment. So their ROI will be horrible, like 1% versus maybe 100%, or maybe -% like we saw in oil yesterday. Then we saw a retrace, and we'll see what happens in oil today. Expect sizable inventory write-downs for the first and second quarters as one result, and chains may not be able to borrow as much as possible against their asset bases. Now, when they go to actually borrow and get loans, they can't get as much because now they're not worth as much because their inventory is got to go. So their sales are down, so their return and their balance sheets for the first and second quarter are going to be horrible. So therefore, the banks, which are crooks, period, will not give them money because they don't care that the economy up. Now they're just looking at their balance sheet now. So the banks are basically holding on to all that money that the government is giving them to give out to us. I've gone over that already, how the banks are double dipping. I've done that in a previous podcast. Check that out. All right. So that's a terrible position to be in ahead of high working capital period, known as the holiday season. So if you're not making money, so what are they going to charge in the holiday seasons, right? Meanwhile, store liquidations and their rock bottom prices for merchandise will pressure efforts by stronger chains to get their business going. That will make relatively strong retailers far less strong. So the Macy's, the Neiman Marcus, the JCPenney's, the Kohl's. For those retailers seeking to emerge from bankruptcy, vendors are likely to be tepid to ship them product, right? Why would I give you guys stuff if we're really not going to make it that much money? Then it becomes, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? That 1-2 punch usually kills a wounded retailer for good. Hence why Amazon was way ahead of it. When they bought Whole Foods, when they've been doing all this, the Hy-Vees, all these other places that are actually able to do stuff online. If you're not online prior to this, you're dead. You are dead. You are Blockbuster. You before Netflix. You are dead. And these stores not really push online. They had trust in people. And people, here's the thing about people. Sorry guys, this is how you work, right? You follow the trend. You don't think with your mind. Maybe you think you do, right? But really, if a whole group of people aren't doing it, then you aren't doing it. Right? The few people who are listening to this channel right now are the ones who are the leaders, not the followers. You the guys are the ones in the XRP community who are doing it before everyone else was in. Right? There are people in Bitcoin that have been around since it was $1. And now someone like me is following the Bitcoin trend in a sense, right? But the cryptocurrency market, we're probably 2% of the 2% in the world right now in it. Not a lot of people are in it. People, yeah, I've heard of Bitcoin, but I'll wait. They're following what the people tell them to do. And that's the issue right now. That's why these things are closing. America is pushing the digital currency right now and the digital wallet because China is launching it. They were going to hold on to that US dollar as long as possible. All in all, then there is a general uncertainty how people will view going back to the mall in a new normal social distancing. People are scared to go out and get sick. Understandable. Some areas in the country are a lot of people are dying. So I can't make comments about that because it's true. People are dying. So that creates fear, right? The fog of war is poised to persist well beyond the oncoming holiday season. This is a 2-year process. It says we are in a retail tsunami. Tsunamis are destructive, and so will be the coronavirus to nations' retailers. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, do you guys even really shop at stores anymore? Melania, I just do everything on Amazon. I don't know about you. That's kind of what I do. So let me know what you think. Now I'm going to play this for you. This is from Bloomberg today. And this talks about the dollar. So if retail stores are collapsing, they can't go bankrupt, right? And oil is crashing, they can't go bankrupt. What are the quote-unquote experts saying about the dollar? Let's talk about it.
Jane, have you capitulated to a weak dollar, or even in this crisis, even with all that's going on, is the exorbitant privilege of the dollar still exorbitant?
I think it is, and yes, we have had the stock markets recovering, but I don't think investor risk appetite is really back to where it should be or where it was. And to be honest, I don't think that the dollar's safe haven strength is really going to disappear entirely until we have investors confident enough to move back into emerging markets with significant volume. And that may not come for a long time, because there's one thing about this crisis which I think is only just beginning to unfold, and that's the demand side aspect of this. You know, if we look at various different countries around the world and we think about the unemployment rates, we know that these are going to be sticky for some time. The latest, of course, was Australia, the RBA overnight warning about the dip in that country's growth and in the increase in its unemployment rate. That's going to impact demand for some time to come. And I think that aspect of this crisis will play out for a long time, and that means I think the dollar is going to remain certainly, quite firm for some time.
So first off, that was not me coughing. That was the actual interviewer coughing. And if we look who this lady is right here, her name is Jane Foley of Rabobank, head of exchange and trading strategy. Okay, she basically says that despite everything, the demand for the dollar is going up. Take a drink of that coffee. Yum. You guys drink coffee? I know there's a guy I watch sometimes, Crypto Jeb. He's always drinking coffee and talking about it. But I love coffee. I'm just going to point that out. I get my cup in the morning after my bike ride and then sit down here. It's probably why I sound like I'm running 100 miles an hour. After you work out, drink coffee, then you sit down, do a podcast, your voice is moving 1,000 miles an hour. Anyway, so dollar to retain safe haven strength for a long time. People never thought oil was going to crash. That's a long time. People thought trading, going into stores was always going to last. People thought Blockbuster was going to last. People thought, DVDs, CDs, cassette tapes, newspapers, magazines, a long time. Everything has its end. And those you don't know, currency, when there's a world power currency, doesn't last very long. I think 90 years to 100 years is the most every world dominancy works. And with oil crashing, my question now is, why would U.S. hold? Now, there was something. I'm going to try to find it real quick. Hold on. I saw it. I think the digital asset investor might have. I'm going to see if I can find it, because it's just not the fact that people are what's the word? Trying to crash the dollar in the U.S., but that does not mean the rest of the world is not trying to crash it, right? So I came across a video, and I don't know if it's him or maybe somebody else. It could be somebody else. But they showed, and if you guys have it, can you shoot it to me? Because, it was talking about, it was Vladimir Putin discussing that the U.S. dollar was going to crash and why it was going to crash. And it was basically along the lines of no one wants it. And that the U.S. dollar took advantage of what they had in store and what they did. So, and I believe that. I believe the bankers are the ones who are crashing the U.S. dollar. And it's mainly because they're greedy, right? The love of money is the root of all evil. Not money is the root, but the love of money is the root of all evil. And apparently I cannot find it. Maybe he took it down. I definitely thought he had it. I know there was a whole big thing going on right now with the internet. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to go into that because it's none of my business. But so, with that said, let's continue on. I'm sorry, I just completely wasted your time with that. I couldn't find it. All right, so let's go on. I found this article by Investor Place. Okay, this article is written by Jeff Remsburg, and it's called "Beating Gold 2-to-1." It says here, stocks aren't only the asset that's been surging. Gold is up big on the year. Here's what to expect now, as well as gold-related plain that's paying investors to own it. While the blistering stock rally has been hogging the limelight, there's another asset class that's quietly pushing higher. Since stocks bottomed in March, gold has been grinding north-side stocks, albeit at a slower pace. Then there's a chart here. But the chart above doesn't tell the whole story. If we pull out and look what's happening in 2020, we see gold handily outperforming stocks. That is a traditional dynamic we'd expect to see in a crisis. Now we see that, right? We know gold has been outperforming almost everything. Bitcoin maximalists will tell you gold is still up on the year. Bitcoin is up on the year. It's technically outperforming gold in the long term. People don't care about the long term. People care about right now. And right now, gold is outperforming. So, where are we at with gold today, and what might we expect to look forward to? For all of you suddenly raising your eyebrows at why we're not turning to an income investor to discuss the asset that pays zero income, let me provide some content. So none of that matters. Let's see here. It says here, even though gold has held up well over the last 2 months, we did see it fall hard in early March, right? We did see that. We saw a crash. Excuse me. Man, why? I feel like when I cough, I feel like people are like, he's got COVID, but I don't. So, basically, there's not a lot in this article. Let's see. One thing to watch for how recent stimulus action from the Fed impacts. By the way, if you guys don't know, the Fed went black on Friday, dark on Friday. Monday, the oil crashes. Now it's back up. Just saying. Something's going on right there. I'm looking. I thought there was something I saw in here that was important. Maybe I didn't. Let's continue to go. We'll see below. It's up 75% over the last year. All right, never mind. That article is completely pointless. I'll still put it in if you want to read about it. For some reason, I thought I saw something. That came out last night. Anyway, let's go over here. Of course. So oil crashes. Here's the article that I wanted to talk about. Oil crash hits stocks. U.S. dollar gains. Now, I'm just going to go through this article. It's not very long. I'm just going to read it to you and let you kind of get out of it what you get out of it. I'm sorry, man. You know what? So when I was doing the audio for my Sunday scriptures, I made French toast and eggs for breakfast and then sat down and did it. I just could not stop, burping and belching. It's like for some reason when I sit, all of a sudden now all my food wants to digest. So I apologize. I wish I had a microphone to mute the mic. I do not. I can't do it. So please, guys, bear with me as I grow and build this channel. I appreciate, again, I don't have a lot of listeners or followers, but those who follow and listen, you guys do it every day, and I appreciate you. So let's dive in here. Global, it says here, well, that was the opposite of what I want to happen. Okay, it says here, never mind, I'm not even going to highlight it. All right. Can I highlight this way? There we go. Global stocks fell on Tuesday, a day after U.S. crude oil prices turned negative for the first time as dismal company earnings reports underline worries about economic damage from the coronavirus pandemic. Again, it says here, it just wants to go that way when I highlight, so we got to highlight backwards on here. The U.S. dollar rose against a basket of peers as investors shunned riskier assets. So people got out of everything else and went to the U.S. dollar. Let's see here. Tracks 49 countries down 8%. Okay, here's something. Monday's historic plunge in oil saw some prices reach negative $40 a barrel is a result of growing crude stockpiles and a squeeze on storage space as lockdowns contain the spread of the novel coronavirus / global fuel use. So what is... Okay, you know what sucks about not being able to talk is not getting sentences out when your throat hurts. All right. So here's why oil crashed yesterday. All right. I'm just going to tell you. This is what I see. The world is shut down right now. Okay. So people aren't driving, which means people aren't using oil, which means all the oil that you have in stock, the U.S., the Russias, the Chinas, it's becoming oil flow. There's more supply than there is demand. Okay? This is important. You guys know supply and demand. The only reason price goes up is because someone wants it, just like that's the point of Bitcoin, supply versus demand. The halving, supply goes down, demand should go up, should naturally increase the Bitcoin halving. That is if people want more Bitcoin, because that's the point. It's hoping, Bitcoin halving hopes people want more Bitcoin. The price isn't just going to go up because it goes up. It's going to be, if people want Bitcoin, then the price will go up. The price of Bitcoin will not hit all-time highs again if people don't want it. Point blank period. You can say, now I only have 10 total Bitcoin in the world. If people don't want it, it doesn't matter. And that's what's going on with the U.S. dollar. The world is over it. The world is over the US dollar and the banking screwing people over. And so the demand for the dollar is going down. So the only reason it's being propped up at 100% right now in the U.S. economy is because the U.S. is holding it up. It's going to crash. As soon as all these countries go digital, the U.S. dollar will fail. Just letting you know that right now. I don't know if you've heard it somewhere else first, but I'm going to say it here. The U.S. dollar will crash when we flip to digital currencies because the rest of them will be off. Oil is just a sign. So this economy shutting down, people not wanting oil, all of a sudden, they try to go into the futures contracts to sell, and no one bought. So since no one bought and everyone sold because everyone has an abundance of oil right now because no one is driving, it crashed. So you see here in West Texas, it hit, negative $4.55 a barrel. And so it says here, I don't know what's going on specifically with this website. It says, I have always thought of oil a little bit like a currency. It stores value. It's controlled by world leaders and makes the world go round, says Gregory Purdon, co-chief investment officer at AL. But yesterday was a wake-up call. Investors would be remiss to ignore that low oil means lower inflation, higher defaults, lower growth, and more political instability as less petrodollars circulate the system. Less dollars, which means less demand. More supply, less demand. Okay? That's huge. That is big. That is big. So it says international benchmark for Brent crude oil, most recently seaborne, then its U.S. counterpart, fell to $22.61 per barrel. Okay? This is still some 60% under January's peak. So oil is still falling 60% on the whole. Okay? It even says spot gold prices traded up per ounce, which is crazy. But overall, it's down. The U.S. Treasuries also fell down, okay? Economies may be slow to get back up and running to a pace that would warrant a strong increase. So I'm going to show you. We talked about oil dropping. Then they came and talked about the yield and the Treasury and then the spot gold. 3 ways it's going. Foreign currencies. So if they see oil as a currency, the Treasury, and the spot for the overall demand of the dollar. 3 reasons the value of the dollar. So X out 1, this is at the lowest it's been, right? And now the US dollar is the last to fall, guys. I was telling someone on the phone yesterday, Jenga. How does Jenga work, okay? Jenga is this little thing right here, okay? If you guys don't know what a Jenga is, this gentleman that I was talking to, this is what Jenga looks like, okay? This is what Jenga looks like right there. Now, because I have the time to do it, I am going, and I did not research it, I'm going to go into YouTube real quick, and I'm going to search The Big Short, and we're going to watch that real quick. Big Short, let's see here. Big Short Jenga clip. And I want you to watch this clip, okay? I think it's important. How long is this? Hopefully it's not that long. We're going to watch it anyway. Let me see. 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Yeah, we're going to watch this, okay? All right, let's jump into this.
Hi, how are you? Okay, Mr. Bennett, what do we have?
Let's see what you got.
You smell that? What is that?
What?
What's that smell?
The cologne?
No.
Opportunity.
No. Money.
Oh, okay.
I smell money.
Okay.
Chris.
Damn it. Sorry.
This is your basic mortgage bond. All right? The originals were simple. They were just thousands of AAA mortgages bundled together, guaranteed by the U.S. government. The modern ones are different. They're private, and they're made up of layers of tranches. The highest level AAAs getting paid first, the lowest rated Bs getting paid last, taking on defaults first. Now, obviously, if you're buying Bs, you can make more money, but they're a little risky. Sometimes they fail. Chris? Somewhere along the line, these Bs and double Bs went from a little risky to dog shit. Where's the trash?
Behind you.
I'm talking rock bottom FICO scores. No income verification. Adjustable rates, dog shit. The default rates are already up from 1% to 4%, fellas. And if they rise to 8%, And they will. A lot of these triple Bs are going to zero too. And that, you're too close, is an opportunity.
Okay, you're saying that at 8% the bonds fail and we are already at 4%?
That's right.
If they go to 8, it's Armageddon.
Yeah, that's right.
How come nobody's talking about this?
You're completely sure of the math.
Look at him. That's my quant.
You're what?
My quantitative. My math specialist. Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face.
That's pretty racist.
Look at his eyes. I'll give you a hint. His name's Yang. He won a national math competition in China. He doesn't even speak English. Yeah, I'm sure of the math.
Actually, my name's Jiang, and I do speak English. Jared likes to say I don't because he thinks it makes me seem more authentic. And I got second in that national math competition.
So you're offering us a chance to short this pile of blocks? How?
With something called a credit default swap. It's like insurance on the bond, and if it goes bust, you can make 10 to 1, even 20 to 1 return, and it's already slowly going bust.
10 to 1, 20 to 1? No way.
And no one's paying attention. No one is paying attention because the banks are too busy getting paid obscene fees to sell these bonds.
But wait, you are the bank. I mean, you work for the bank. I bet your margins are pretty nice and fat.
Let's not talk about my margins, by the way. Being nice and fat. That's a nice shirt. Do they make it for men?
Aren't you the bank?
I work for the bank. I don't think like a bank. Big bank, small bank, I like to make money. All right? Let me put it this way. I'm standing in front of a burning house, and I'm offering you fire insurance on it. A's, 0. B's, 0. Double B's, 0. Triple B's, 0. And then that happens.
What is that?
That's America's housing market.
Right? Okay, I hope you guys understood that. That now here it's the American housing market, right? But really that is the US dollar. That is the US dollar. So he said the bottom, right? Foreign currencies not caring about it. The treasury yield, the people, the businesses going out of here, right? The businesses going out of business, bankruptcies, okay? Gold rising, holding it up, oil crashing here. And not to mention, Wells Fargo, banks like this, I'm not going to go through this article, I'm just going to point this out. Lawsuits being filed for people not getting the paychecks from Wells Fargo and other banks, right? It says a California-based company filed a class action suit against Wells Fargo citing unfair actions against some small businesses seeking government-sponsored coronavirus relief, PPP, okay? And I'm also going to go here and show you money is losing its meaning. That's another article. Doing whatever it takes to save the global economy from the coronavirus pandemic is going to cost us a lot of money. The U.S. government alone is spending a few trillion dollars. A few trillion dollars, and the Federal Reserve is creating another few trillion dollars to keep the financial system from collapsing. A custom Bloomberg index measuring M2 figures for 12 major economies, including the U.S., China, Eurozone, Japan, shows the aggregate money supply has already more than doubled to 80 trillion from 2009. So what does that mean? I'm going to show you real quick. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let's see if I can find it one more time. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Where?
0. And then that happens.
Then that happens. Okay? That is the US dollar. It is crashing right now. Okay, here's another article. And again, I'm not going to go deep to this one. The Rupee gains 1.79 against the US dollar. I just said literally other people around seas are pushing. So you saw China at $7 against, so a dollar is 7 there. So basically 7 to 1. That means the Chinese yuan and the Hong Kong, it's more valuable there. Okay, that's the point of it. So I want to show you also in Pakistan, the Rupee is also gained on it. All these other currencies, again, foreign reserve currencies are going in a better place. They're going in a better place than the US dollar. Here, US dollar may remain bid on oil price, right? This is an article I'll find. I'll put it here in Exchange Street, okay? This talks more about U.S. investors and the dollar and the global reserve, all right? So what does all this mean? Even here in Scovenosha SEC filings is another article. You guys can go over this. Liquidity exchanges. The point is, guys, the U.S. dollar is going to crash. And why? And I just wanted to show you that. It doesn't make sense right now, right? How many people thinks it makes sense that employment numbers are going down? I mean, down. People are becoming unemployed. So less jobs, higher employment, 21 million people unemployed. The stock market is kind of settling and going up. The U.S. dollar is holding despite oil prices crashing. It literally crashed 197% total yesterday. That is insane, guys. That is absolutely insane. So, again, I'll play this for you one more time. One more time.
I like to make money, all right? Let me put it this way. I'm standing in front of a burning house, and I'm offering you fire insurance on it. A's, 0. B's, 0. Double B's, 0. Triple B's, 0. And then that happens.
What is that?
The U.S. dollar. That's what that is, guys. The world power of the U.S. dollar. And I need to, so important for you guys to pay attention. I'm going to put all these articles. I know at first I did a horrible job of getting into this, but finally clicked where I was going. So why the bankruptcies, the oil crash, and the other fiat currencies around the world and the U.S. dollar is crashing. So when I did an article, right, I did a YouTube. Go back and watch this, guys. I did a YouTube, and I think this is one of my best ones here. It is, if I can find it, right here, okay? I already talked about it. I talked about it 13 days ago. Are the banks the next big short, guys? Go and watch this. This is what I talk about. Watch this first. It breaks down really what the banks are. And then go watch the movie The Big Short. You think I'm crazy, okay? I mean, right now, you see, futures are down, but it should not be, right? Oil's still at $5.75. I mean, this is insane. If I was to click on this and just see, hey, what happened in the chart 1 year ago? Where was oil at 1 year ago? Whoa, it was at $65 a barrel a year ago. $65 a barrel a year ago, guys. $65 a year ago. Now, yesterday, it crashed down $37. Now it's sitting at $5. Guys, do you understand that in 1 year, the U.S. dollar is going to crash, and I'm telling you right now. So, how do you hedge your bet against it? That's the question now, right? How do I hedge my bet against the dollar? That is where cryptocurrency comes in, guys. That is where this market is built for. Now, some people will say this is how you hedge your bet against it. It's a store of value, internet gold. But the banks crash doesn't mean they're going away, right? The banks crashing doesn't mean it's going away. And you actually see Bitcoin kind of going up. You see XRP going up. It dropped up at, there's a little bit of movement here. We're kind of trying to go north. That's nice. All right. So the point is here is that you can hedge your bet. You can hedge your bet. And hedge your bet is putting your money in something that's going to profit from that. This is not financial advice, but this is why this channel exists, okay? It's to give you information. So you can obviously hit us up on multiple things. Our website is not quite done yet. It is, but it's not ready for public launch. So some people have found it by Googling around, but I'm not going to show it on here yet. We are going to educate you and talk about what those things are, okay, guys? So that is the story. That is it. And the thing is, there's a reason gold is going up, because the dollar is going to crash. This person right here, the mass media lies to you guys. I'm telling you right now, the dollar is not going to last very long. What happened with oil? Oil, again, it crashed. It crashed overnight. What happened with the housing market? It crashed overnight. Overnight. But mass media is going to push and say, it's okay. Trump, by the way, we're just going to click to show you. Right now, this is what it says as of right now. Trump says oil and gas bailout plan is being prepared. Right now, the oil market has to be held up or the U.S. dollar is gone. How long is that going to happen? The longer the economy and the world stays closed, the more this is going to crash. It's over with. Someone yesterday said a black hole. And that's what will happen, guys. So let me know what you guys think. Again, my name is... Oh, hold on. Before I go. Obviously, I have to do a scripture before we go. So let's see what I open up from, okay? Here we go here. I'm going to read you something from Colossians chapter 2, verse 6. So then, just as you received Jesus Christ as Lord, continue to live your lives in him, rooted and built up in him, strengthened in the faith as you were taught, and overflowing with thankfulness. See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and elemental spiritual forces as the world rather than as Christ. I'm just going to let you set that there. Read that one yourself. Basically, Colossians 2, verse 6 through 8. And that says, do not be caught up in the deceptive philosophies of the world. We know there is only one God who was resurrected for us, period. Everything else is a philosophy of the world. If you don't know, do your history. Just like I'm telling you to do your research in this, and the US dollar will fall. You heard it here. First, maybe second, maybe third. If you don't listen to other channels, and I'm the only channel you listen to, you've heard it here first, guys. So, hey, man, I'm not the only one with this, but I just want to show you what I see, guys. Again, my name is Christian Israel. You are tuned into the New Creation Capital Podcast, a place where we discuss what happens in the world today, where we discuss stories that focus on current events, the stock market, and, of course, digital assets. This is not financial advice whatsoever, but, like we like to say, buy low, sell high. It's a new you, a new future, and a new creation, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, peace and love. Of course, later.
Can you see those? Oh, there's 2 votes.
Let me try.
Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? Oh, they're over here. That's easier. You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe
the
I
IMF.
should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we stunned Ross into silence with that one.
For that to happen, okay, under the current legal framework, some country would have to use a crypto asset as its currency.
Which goes to the next question that was on the list, actually. Will central banks issue digital currency become a reality in the next few years?
Well, again, there's a lot of work being done this through by a number of central banks in different, regions of the world. I think generally speaking, many of these central banks are coming to the conclusion that they don't see the benefits right now of doing it, but they're very seriously considering the use case. And I think as work proceeds, they maybe become the possibility may increase. Particularly the Bank of Canada with its Project Jasper experiment has realized that a central bank digital currency on its own may not offer benefits now, but when combined with other things like the security settlement system, the use cases begin to emerge. So let's keep an open mind.